Aloha, you are inside Jeff's head, and today I just wanted to talk a little bit about nurses, and in particular, a nurse named Annette, who I met on my first night in the hospital 1 year ago. I was admitted November 17th, had a CAT scan, showed large mass, and they admitted me, and that was an incredibly horrible night. I've mentioned before. Traumatic is a good word. Just went through a whole range of extremely negative, extremely unpleasant emotions: fear, shock, panic, just almost despair. And then I'm in my room and CNN's on, and it's all about the hunt for the ISIS Paris bombers and all that. And really horrible night. But then there was one positive that came out of that night, though, and it was I don't know, around midnight, I think 11 midnight, I'm not sure, but there was a shift change and a new nurse came on, and her name was Annette. And I've met a lot of really amazing nurses in this past year, but Annette stands out more than anyone else. She came along when I really needed her, and when she came in and just introduced herself and told me she'd be my nurse for the next while and who the assistant was, all standard kind of drill. And got to talk, and she asked, sort of what I was in for, and I told her, and she looked pretty, shocked, affected by it. And we just sort of got to talking, and she asked me, how I was doing and all that. And she's one of those people who doesn't just ask to be polite. She's asking because she wants to know, and she's actually listening. And there was something about Annette and her manner that just made me really open up. And I just started telling her how I really was feeling. I wasn't trying to pretend anything different than how awful I felt and how scared I felt. And I told her, my wife was pregnant, and we were going to have a baby girl in about 2 months' time. I said, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive to see my daughter be born. And she just listened, listened really well. And at one point she just looked at me and she said, "Do you need a hug?" And that just really got me. And I just kind of said, "Yeah, I think I do." And she just leaned down, she gave me a hug, and she told me this story about another patient that she'd known a few years ago, similar to me, large brain tumor, really high grade. He was given 6 months to live, and now 4 years later he's still alive. And she said that she had given him an angel, and that she prayed for him. And after she sort of finished telling me about this man who had lived much longer than expected and still fine, totally healthy today. After she'd told me about him, I said, "Do you have another one of those angels?" And she said, "You know what, I don't have any more, but I'll get you one." And sure enough, she did, because when I woke up the next morning, and I was actually able to sleep well, when I woke up the next morning, this was on my bedside table with a little note from Annette, and I have had this by my bed every night since. I'm not a super religious person, but this has a lot of meaning for me, because it just represents, sort of, the hope and the encouragement that she gave me that night, and that really, really helped me to start getting through this. And I often think about her. I never saw her again. I think she went on holiday or something after that shift. So, she came into my life at just the right moment, and then she just was gone. She's still there. She still works there. When I was in the hospital the last time, I asked for her right away when they put me in that wing again. But I think she was on holiday. And anyway, I just think, Annette, if there's any doctors or nurses, anyone training to be a doctor or a nurse, and you want to know about how to develop a good bedside manner, call Moanalua Medical Center. Ask for Annette. She's got it down. She'll tell you. And but yeah, I like I said, I always think about her, and I think this is one of the important things I've learned, is that I think we get opportunities every now and then to do something for another person, and it seems small, but something really small at a moment of real vulnerability for another person, even just a small act of kindness, can have an incredibly large and very profoundly powerful and positive impact on that person. So I think we all get called upon to do these things from time to time, and maybe it's not convenient or something, but I would urge you to do it. Don't miss opportunities like that, because they really, really can have an incredibly powerful, beneficial impact on somebody. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you about Annette. And just to also say, nurses are awesome. If you have a nurse in your life, tell them how awesome they are. On my behalf, please. I just think they're the most incredible people. And yeah, that's all I got. So until next time, aloha and mahalo.